Hello and welcome to
Hello.
Commentary Zone. Okay, as you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a little thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell. Most importantly, tell a friend. Alrighty, as you know, we have assembled to have a wonderful little chat about these silly little reality shows that we can't help but watch. And on the docket today, we have The Real Housewives of Orange County, season 16, episode 7, Wild Cards. So, Jamal, how are you today?
Everything's good so far. It's kind of mellow for a Thursday, but I'm not mad at it. How are you?
Um, Not bad. I'm just happy that I woke up today. All right, what did your overall impressions of this episode?
I mean, this one was good. In fact, like it was, we knew this was the episode to get us into Cabo. So pretty much, I just
Mhm.
looked at it from that angle. Like this is not going to be too much of an anything episode. This is more to get us to the what I perceive as the Heather Noella showdown, and then also it's kind of like the halfway point of the season. So this is kind of like the gateway episode to the second half of the season. That's the way I took it. That's the way it
Mm.
felt to me. It didn't feel like anything spectacular.
Um, I wasn't mad at the episode. I really wasn't.
No,
Um, we've shifted, it felt like we've shifted from one dynamic or one set of arguments into another set of arguments. um so where do we begin? We see Emily going swimsuit shopping with Jen and Jessica, and she got a whole 2-liter bottle of ginger ale because she can't remember anything from the night before. The tequila did her in. What is going on with Emily?
I don't know, but her tagline caused me to have a few concerns about her.
I don't know. But she's chugging this, she's taking it everywhere with her. They try on swimsuits. And when Jen comes next to her, she goes, "Oh my God, it's like you're my child." It did seem like Jolly Green Giant and Sprout. I'm not going to lie. And I mean that with no disrespect.
I
It's
didn't realize
just like,
Emily was that tall.
but Emily to me seems like a full grown, regular
Right.
person, woman, because I relate to her. I am not skinny. I am not, like these ladies on TV. That's why I like Emily. I can relate to her just with the way how she looks. But that was a mess, though. That was hilarious. And then Jessica got her nerve saying, um, "I'm not going on the trip if Noella goes. Who cares? I don't like you anyway."
Mhm.
Mm.
And I do like. I like Emily because she's fair. She's not going to just listen to Nicole rag on Noella. She's like, you know what? I see it. We're just gonna I'm gonna form my own opinion. I like that. But Nicole being messy, she just came out the gates firing shots at Noella. And
Mm.
how she treated her on that phone call, I was like, you didn't have to be that rude. But I'm going to say that Noella, we understand that you're going through a tough time. We really, really do. But in fairness to everyone else, no one wants to be around someone who's always complaining. It brings the whole mood down. It's like every time you come around, like we gotta hear about this again. We know we've heard it several times. We've heard the crime. We've heard the issues. Like when people are going through things, we give them grace, of course. Like we don't mind you
Mhm.
complaining for like a week or so. But honestly, I think most people, especially your friends, want to hear like, okay, what are you doing moving forward? Like, what is your plan? Like, Noella has we have not heard Noella say one thing about a financial plan. Like, is she looking for a job? Like, is she
Mhm.
downsizing? Like, what are you doing to alleviate some of your concerns? Nothing, but crying
Sh
about it.
The only thing she's busy doing is trying to locate where he is, finding an active credit card
Right,
that she could use to buy groceries, like nothing else.
right.
One would think, though, this was my thing. If you got the chance to go away, your life is in turmoil, and you got the chance to go away, wouldn't you want to leave all your troubles behind and just enjoy the new environment that you're in and just like not think about it, not talk about it, anything?
Exactly. My thing is, if you're gonna talk about it, you should be like, you know what? I found him. I found the credit card, and I've turned it over to my attorneys. That's all I really want to hear from you at this point.
Mm. No, Jamal, that was past complaining. It was me, 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 me. Total attention hog. She takes the air out of the room as she comes in.
She does, because at first I was kind of on her side with the whole Heather situation, and how Heather kind of set her. I'm like, you know what, Heather, you know you was messy for that, but okay, Noella, I
Mm.
got you on this one. But now I'm like, I'm looking at her like, you still talking about this? Still, like,
And
who
it
would want you
hasn't
around?
progressed. It hasn't
No progression.
progressed.
No. Okay, it progressed to where she found the credit card, but
But
like
that
I
was
said,
last week. There's
right.
been no progression to this week.
Where's your lawyer? Like, I want to see you on the phone talking to your lawyer, coming up with the game plan. That's progression for me. That's what I want to see. Like, how you gonna get
Mm-hmm.
him for what he did to you? But you want to sit around and cry and complain. I mean, she like I said, I was Team Noella. I do like her overall, but now she's making me mad because is
Mm-hmm.
her attitude's terrible. Like,
It is.
ma'am, you were not even invited on the trip.
I know somebody had a bag for you.
But I don't think she knows that yet.
Can't wait till she find out.
Right.
So Yanni says, I'm sorry, her comments as she's late getting her margarita after losing the flight because she didn't take her passport. The host isn't there waiting for me. Yeah, we're going to get to that, Yanni. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay, so next we see Shannon talking with her boyfriend. His name is John.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Mhm. John.
John,
Mhm.
trying to pack while she's trying to pack for the trip. She says that she hasn't seen anybody in 2 weeks, and she hasn't discussed the untrustworthy comment with Emily yet. And she thinks that she's reconnected with Heather. What delusion is Shannon under?
I have no clue.
Okay.
But we're in a decent place. I'm like, that's a good word for it. You're in a decent place. There's no reconnecting when you're only in a decent place.
Yeah, unless we missed something.
Right.
But she says she hasn't seen anybody in 2 weeks. Where we left off, I didn't see reconnecting there. Unless this is going on behind the scenes. I don't know. Next, we see Heather in her closet or Saks Fifth Avenue, either one. Gina comes over, and of course, hero worship ensues. And this is where Gina says that she feels like she's guilty if Noella isn't going because she's been kind of like trying to be there for Noella
Mm-hmm.
and letting Noella wallow in her misery and listening to all that bullshit. Gina begs for a personal favor from Heather and asks Heather to invite Noella. But then Heather's like, well, Noella came to my book launch party for my daughter and gave my daughter pornography.
That was hilarious. I was
And
like,
starts
okay.
reading out the cards.
I hollered.
Oh my God. Noella.
I thought they were vibrators personally.
But we didn't see what was in the bag. So you thought that she gave a child a vibrator? Jamal.
When she said it was like inappropriate. I'm like, well, she's 17, about to be an adult. Maybe I'm like, this is Noella. Hey, you never know. She could have just thrown some supplies into a bag from the dungeon and brought it over. She's probably trying to get rid of a few things.
Look, hold on. Yanni says, I'm sure Bronwyn gave her the advice how to get ratings and stay in the show. Be as old and crazy as possible. Big mistake. That's how Bronwyn got out. Now that you've said this, Yanni, this feels like Bronwyn 2.0. It really does. Be as obstructive as possible to the
Right.
plot. And if it didn't work for her,
Right.
why are you doing it again?
Your friend just got
Shannon is
fired.
delusional. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yanni, yeah, Gina literally begged for this girl to come on this show.
With
Gina
stipulations.
is not too kind. Let me tell you what happened. The producers told Gina, since you the closest to Heather now, and you got this relationship with being from New York, go over there and ask her to get Noella on this trip because we need everybody on the trip. Like you said, Jamal, cash trip. Everybody got to go unless you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that was. Mm-mm. That also helps explain Jessica's reaction to Noella. I would agree with you on that, but I think what Shannon says later on at the Cabo dinner is more accurate. Jessica and Noella got together and started talking about all of these people, probably with Bronwyn included. And now that they not feeling each other, they spilling all of their collective beans. That's what I think it is. This is a mess. Heather always reach, I'm sorry, but yes, super inappropriate. I don't know. This girl, they're about to be 18. The twins, Max and her twin brother, are about to be 18. I would not have given that gift to anyone's kid.
Right.
I just wouldn't, because I'm not friends with the kid. I'm friends with the parent. I'm not friends
Mm-hmm.
with the kid.
Right.
Like, girl, stop. So, anyway, Gina, convinces Heather and she invites her. Apparently she can't go on the private plane that the private jet that Heather got because she had an appointment. So she's coming later, which is kind of a reprieve for Heather. I think
Right.
Heather knows that this is going to be a shit show. And I think Shannon
Right.
knows it's going to be a shit show.
Yep. How could you not?
Mm-hmm.
How could you not know though? Like you have to go into assuming that something's gonna happen.
Gina is always very reactionary. Gina went and begged for this. And then after it started sliding down the chute, then she's like, how am I supposed to take care or be responsible for someone like Noella? That's a big responsibility. Shut your mouth, Gina. You knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I love when Heather told Gina, give me a reason why you think that this is a good idea. And Gina could not formulate a coherent
None.
reason.
Zippo.
But the condition is that Gina has to be on Noella duty. Big mistake, Heather, but this makes for an exciting trip for us to watch. Okay, so it's trip day, and everybody's on the plane with the exception of Jessica and Noella. Jessica must have found out that Noella's coming, so she said, I'm not going. Bye, you have a good time.
No, that's not the reason, but
Why?
but we knew that before the season. From what I recall, it was
Mm-hmm.
something to do with the C-19.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why if I recall Instagram correctly, that was the reason. There's something about that.
Okay. Tracy, the gift was pride theme. It was like a pride theme card game, but it had a lot of like suggestive content in the questions on the flip cards. It was a little rated R
Yeah.
or NC-17 borderline for someone's 18-year-old kid. I don't know. Anywho, especially the restaurant scene. Yes. Bronwyn is back. The inappropriate vibrator was too normal compared to the actual GIF. I was wondering who told Gina to ask. I thought maybe Noella, but you're right, producers. Yep. I think the producers got involved here. Okay. So they get on the plane. They're having fun. La la la. They arrive in Cabo, to the house that Heather got. Shannon goes straight for the tequila. The villa is really cute. It has a main
Mm,
building and then a
yeah.
bunch of little casitas. There's more than enough bedrooms for everybody and then some. Um, let me see. Emily and Gina are sharing a room. They're okay with that. Let's see. We see Jen calling home to Ryan to check on the kids. She says she never takes girls trips. She says that if she's not at the office, she feels that she should be with her family.
Right.
Mm. Well, now you want a reality show, girl, so you got to do the trips.
And she was like, now it was good to hear her say. I'm not sure if this was in this package or a different one where she said like
Mhm.
basically she acknowledged that they each resent each other for their roles. It's like
Mhm.
they if they could they would switch roles. That's just not where they are.
I don't think she would. She ain't got no patience for kids. She don't.
I think she wanted actually she I think she said she wanted to be a stay at home mom. She like if she could she wanted to be the she said this and it was a couple episodes ago where
Mhm.
she said that she would have loved she resented Ryan for being able to stay home with the kids and he was resentful for her starting her own business. It's
Mhm.
like they envy the position of the other and that envy has turned into resentment
Well,
because
then she shouldn't have married a loser.
she acknowledged she's like like he doesn't understand like everything I do for the family and then she also acknowledges that she doesn't see everything he does for the family so it's
Mhm.
just like they're in that weird boat to where they resented each other for so long that this was bound to happen in my opinion.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, and I do agree with Yanni with what she said here. Hold on. How far? Okay, I think Heather had errands to run and invited the ladies to show off how rich she is.
But she said that though that was no
Mhm.
secret. She said there was no secret like she's all like we're looking to buy a home.
Mhm.
I'm in Cabo, so I'm just gonna go down and check some things out. So it wasn't a secret.
Mhm. Yep, she's there for business, and this is a write-off. Um, let's see. Next up, we see Heather.
Oh, real quick.
Speaking of,
I said Jamal don't get how you man the breadwinner of a family. No one resents them. If you want to be stay at home, you make the wrong choices. I think what happened is that he wasn't working and she was building her practice, so he wound up being the one to stay home with the children.
mm-hmm,
And I think what happened was he was resentful of her building a business and she became kind of resentful because she would like to be um a more stay-at-home mom because she couldn't relate to other women,
mm-hmm,
most other women. Which, given her credentials and what she does, you're not going to. So I think what happened is instead of them going to therapy and talking about it and getting it out and figuring it out, they just kept on with the dynamic because it was working, and they became resentful of each other.
mm-hmm,
I think that's where it
mm-hmm.
kind of broke down.
Um, but Yanni, I see what you're saying. That
So do I.
spend time with the girls because she has the next comment here. But I think that she's doing early morning meetings with the architect so that she can then, um, you know, she's arranged activities for them. I think it's one day where she has to go out and look at the plot of land or something like that. I think she's going to participate. I think she just wants to get the business out of the way and then she'll participate. Yeah. Okay, so Heather's meeting with the architect. Um, the heat seems to be getting to these ladies,
Yes.
especially Emily. We also see Heather saying why she wants to build a house in Cabo. And she says that it's for the kids. She has some dream about the kids, saying, mom would have loved this. So she wants to make sure that they always have some place where they can go to be together. And she kind of gets emotional. I thought she was hamming it up. And then she sends Gina and Emily off to go horseback riding. Child. Next we see Noella in a confessional. And she's in the confession. This is where she's in her closet packing, and she's with the dog, and she says that she sees the shade from Heather as being the last to be invited.
That's not shade though, and that's what I didn't like about. I didn't like that either. It's not shade.
Mm-hmm.
You two, what are you expecting? Like, here's the thing: you don't question the fact that you were asked last.
Mm-hmm.
You should be questioning why you were invited at all, because your last conversation you and Heather had was her telling you, maybe I'm not the friend for you. So,
Mm-hmm.
man, I think your thought process is out of order. You should be questioning, like, why were you even invited? That would have been my first question. Like, why did you even invite me?
Yeah.
Get it together. Focus. She needs to quit focusing on these petty things and focus on the fact that, ma'am, you have no job. You really don't have any finances. You're not even going to be sure where you're going to be living. Like, these, instead of worrying about being invited on a Cabo trip, worry about your immediate future, because you do have a son with special needs to take care of.
And a mom too.
Right.
And she has another child too, right?
Just the one.
I thought she
No,
had
two.
two
One
kids.
with
One
James, the
was from
one older one.
another.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we see Shannon joins Gina and Emily to go horseback riding. Shannon is an accomplished horsewoman, grew up on 18 acres with horses. Emily is as well. She said that she grew up in Ohio with horses. I can't remember, but she grew up with horses too. Gina, no, she doesn't know how to ride either. So the three of them go out, and Emily, them scenes with her going for a trot on the beach. What was going on there? Wow. But I loved it. They sit underneath an umbrella after they take a break. Gina's complaining that her vajayjay hurts. And then they start talking about I think, Noella, but it kept on getting interrupted with Gina and not controlling the champagne bottle corks. I swear she almost took out Shannon's eye. Not with one bottle, but with two bottles. I don't know. This was a nice scene, but I just thought it was filler. I just thought it was filler.
I mean, you guys have at least one.
Next, we see Heather and Jen chatting while Jen is it looked like she was having breakfast. Heather kind of understands where she's at with building her business, her practice, and she actually says to her, there's light at the end of the tunnel, because I remember when Terry was in that phase, he was gone from sunup to sundown. He was gone most of the day, and it was rough. She was left with the kids. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, because once you get to an established place, you can then set parameters and make time for family time. And she asked her, do you even at least get family dinners? And she said that she doesn't get home sometimes 8, 9 o'clock. Now her kids are little, so they would be in bed by then. And she says that, once she's finished actually tending to patients, then she has to do her charts. So it takes a while for her to get home. And Heather understands this. And she's compassionate about it, and even optimistic with her, but she knows that it's essential if you're building a practice.
Oh, yeah.
I
Especially if you
think
want to be successful.
yes, and I think instead of Heather talking to Jen, I think she needs to talk to Ryan about this
Right.
because Ryan and Heather are in the same boat. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
yeah. Um, we find out that Jen had a bone tumor when she was in her 20s, and she needs to do exercise or physical therapy every day to keep limber
Hmm.
and so that it doesn't hurt so much or something. But
Hmm.
that's crazy. Like, this girl has gone through a lot.
Right. They had to really go in and take the rod out or something, and then
Something
replace
like
it
that.
with like a cement something. Like what?
Yeah, it sounded really complicated and medical, so it lost me. Sorry. She okay, hold on. She doesn't work 7 days a week or 24 hours in a day. I think there's an underlying situation that she's projecting, saying it's not been him enough. Oh, not being home enough. She has no real reason. She has no real res for her husband.
Maybe no resolution.
Oh, okay. Uh, well, I don't even want to say it, but it has been a little cold down here in Florida. I just didn't
Sure.
want to wear my sweater. It has been cold. Um, let's see. I thought that was a nice session, even though I don't really feel it for Jen. I thought that was a nice segment. Maybe I was too drawn into the scenery as opposed to their conversation. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Next, we go back to the beach with Gina, Shannon, and Emily. Shannon is worried about when Noella shows up. Gina says that she begged for the favor from Heather to invite Noella. Gina feels that they could possibly bond, meaning Noella and Heather. And Emily shoots that right down and says, no, no, Shannon hopes that they can at least start going in a good direction from the
Hmm.
trip. And the second champagne bottle pops. And that was the end of that scene. I thought that was a fitting ending. Um, Shannon, Emily, and Gina, they get back to the villa and they head to the pool and go in with all their clothes on. Emily is not handling this heat well at
No.
all.
Mm-mm.
But I think it's also a combination of heat and alcohol.
Alcohol. I was gonna say the alcohol too.
With these three, I think it's heat and alcohol. Um, Shannon and Emily and this hammock. The hammock ultimately won because both of them wound up on the floor. It was cute. This is what I like to see on girls' trips. I'm not gonna lie. Heather sees them and comes over to check on them and tells them, "Go and get ready. We're going to dinner. Get up off the floor and go and get ready." Jesus, I don't get it. I think Heather's a little bit too regimented for uh, this crew.
You think so?
Because she's even more regimented than she was back in the day.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Um, they're all getting ready for dinner. Shannon texts Noella, and Noella says that she forgot her passport. She has to send a driver to go and get it, and she's taking a later flight. So that's the update on Noella. Noella arrives finally and is trying not to be shady, but whips out a shady fan in her confessional. I don't know if I like that or not. Um, but she thinks that her host should have been there to greet her when she arrives.
No. That's just a no for me.
Well, maybe if you got your dumb ass on the first flight that you were supposed to be on and you had brought your fucking passport, maybe some bitch would have
Right.
been there to say, hey, how you doing?
But what killed me was she's like, I I was used to traveling a certain way. I haven't. This is like my first commercial flight or whatever. I'm like, okay, but you're not flying that way, so that's no excuse. And I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
Mm-hmm.
Noella does not like Heather because Heather's life is what she thinks she deserves or what she thought she would have.
Mm-hmm.
Noella wants to be like that girl, but Heather is that woman, completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
really what it boils down to. Like Heather has the life you thought, like I say, she thought she deserved and she would have, and she doesn't. And Heather just does it effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ma'am, I'm like, Heather's house alone is like twice the size of your house. I'm sorry, it is,
More than
and
twice.
more than twice. And you can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to be rude to someone. Like you don't even know this woman to say the things that you said.
And Heather owns hers. Noella's
Built,
paying rent.
built from the
Remember.
ground up.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, Noella, stop. And Running Gray Wolf, I see your comment. There seems to be a conflicting stories with regards to the passport issue. Because to Shannon, she texted Shannon and said, I forgot my passport. And then when she gets there, she's like, oh, I'm used to having my passport card. I'm used to flying private, but there was some confusion at the airport with what they would and wouldn't accept. Girl, in this day and age, take your passport. You're going to a foreign country, take your passport. A passport card is a waste of time
Right.
because when you're going to a foreign country, somebody's going to want to put the visa stamp entry in your passport.
Right.
You was only doing private when you supposedly became an adult. You were not doing private your entire life, Noella. Stop with these lies. Stop it. Us regular folks got to use a passport.
Right.
I think that she's trying to portray that she has a life that I don't think she ever had.
I mean, like she like her. So growing up, they did grow up poor. She said that no problem. And then I guess when her mother, got through school and became a lawyer, they lived a bit better. I'm not sure like how, like if they lived the private, jet lifestyle, but her mom seemed to do okay. So I'm not mad at her for that. It's just more the simple fact that you're acting like you literally grew up around this. Like you came out the womb flying private is the problem.
Kira says, your passport card doesn't work like that, private or not. Thank you. Yanni says, I think Bronwyn said there's always two top dogs and they fight for reign. She told her befriend one and fight the other for the top position. Interesting. I'm like, if you pay rent but have a PJ, you don't have any financial literacy. Interesting. Passports are a must. There's no way around it. I didn't know that, Debbie. I thought the card worked for Canada and Mexico. That's what mine said. Maybe it's just through the land border. I'm not wasting money on a passport card. I'm not, especially with things changing all the time.
All the time.
I just give me a passport. Give me a passport so that they can put all of the visa stamps, all of the entry stamps, all of that. Just, I'm not spending money on a card. Let's see. Okay, she did have that life ever. Interesting theory. Thank you. Wait, where is the financial literacy here? Agreed. That's because she has none. Okay, the pictures Noella had with Sweet James for the past 6 years on social media, every over the very over the top. Hold on. She had the Lux life for the past 6 years for sure. Balling on a credit card is not the way to go. That's why he wound up with two tax liens, right?
I believe so. Yes.
I won't get another one either. Back then, my sister lived on the border. Oh, okay. PM. Oh, PJ Private Jet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Kelly's social media most times are not real. I do believe she had a good life, but not Heather or LVP good life.
Right.
Yup.
That's what it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm. All right, so next we see the ladies arrive at the restaurant, and Shannon and Emily are selecting their drinks. They're starting off with tequila. This is scary. We all know that this dinner is not going to end well. Noella arrives and she comes in saying, "Look at the chiquitas," and I think it's downhill from there.
Pretty much.
Noella comes in and sucks all the oxygen out of the room. She's just, was it Heather who wanted to make a toast thanking them for coming, and they're doing a shot of tequila, and she just starts complaining about cold tequila versus hot tequila. She asked the waiter to bring her ice.
Chills.
Yeah, Emily is like, you ordered the food, but you're not eating it. They get into it at the table. It's just a lot. And the face is like, Shannon is looking concerned. Heather is looking like, who is this 2-year-old throwing a fit at the Target? Gina is shitting herself because she knows that she's not being the caretaker that she promised to be. And Jen is just like, I knew I couldn't stand this girl.
That's the problem. This is why you don't put your neck on the line for other people, but who you don't know
Mm-hmm.
well. Like me
Yeah.
personally, I would not have begged for her to come because she did this to herself. You're not invited for a reason, and this is the reason.
Yeah.
But I do
Uh,
like Emily saying, like, when she's like, if we can just get them under the one roof, they could bond. And Emily shot that's not happening.
it's not. It's realistic. The dinner was cringy, Morgan D. It was. Even when they separated, like Gina wanted to go to the restroom, and Emily and Noella follow. Emily's there telling her, come on, let's try to get through this dinner. You ordered the food, at least try to make a show of eating it. And Noella's like, you're not going to tell me whether I need to eat food or not. Stop it. Stop. Her behavior, Noella's behavior at this dinner made me think this is why I didn't have children. It was immature, it was infantile, and it was unnecessary. It was a lot. I wanted to see the women have drinks and have fun and be a hot, sloppy mess.
Right.
This is not it.
No, this is not the business.
Mm-hmm.
And see, here's the thing. It's interesting how you come in as a fan favorite. People like you, you're a breath of fresh air, and then this was to happen. You try to show your behind.
Mm-hmm. It was just it was uncomfortable. And I think when the three girls go to the restroom, that's when Shannon says that obviously Jessica and Noella, were talking about all of them. And now they're airing their dirty laundry out to get back at each other. And I thought that was a very accurate assessment of the
That was
situation, even
really good.
though she's Noella's friend.
That was like she broke that down so well.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon did. I was like, you ain't lying. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's spot on.
Yep. And Heather says this is why she didn't want to invite her. And it's true. The dinner just seems like it's going to hell, and I'm a little disappointed because I do like drama on the cast trip. I do, but not when it's ruining the food and the drink. We
But
didn't get no good shots of the octopus.
it was reaching though. It didn't feel real.
Yes, it didn't. She was just purposely going to ruin the evening, and I don't like that.
And she went, and to me, the way she came across, she came in looking to cause a scene
Yep.
versus coming in saying like, you know what, hey everybody, sorry I'm late.
Mhm.
Heather, thank you so much for the invitation. Like there was none of that. There was no gratitude. Zero.
Do you think Noelle is in drug? No, I don't. I
No.
think she's just a very calculating person. And I think the wrong person gave her advice on how to be successful on this show. But you should have learned that once that
Right.
person got fired, that was not the way
Change
to
course.
get ahead on the show.
Because what she's supposed to do was
Mm-hmm.
stay at home, you know, and like most of her scenes should be went out with girls having a good time, or like if you're at home, you need to be at home on the phone with your lawyers. Then
Mm-hmm.
the next scene we need to see you like, okay, like I have this affiliation with this med spa or beauty lab or whatever. Let me see if
Mm-hmm.
I can find work with them. Like we need to be see you actively improving your current position, and you're not doing that. And that's why people are getting mad
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
Yep. Yep. And I think she keeps on saying that it's displaced anger, that she's angry at James and she's lashing out at the other
Mm-hmm.
women. I'm tired of that excuse now.
Right.
Put your anger into something else a little bit more positive, or showing progression in what you're doing to help your kids and your mother get through this hard situation.
Right. Like if I would like to see scenes of her talking to Gina, like you've gone through this, like what should I do? And then go to maybe Shannon. Okay, Shannon, like
Mhm.
you've gone through the divorce, yada yada yada. I'm not at the end yet, but like what should I pivot to? Pivot to this is what I've done before. These are the jobs I have. These are the like partnerships I have now. What is my best course of action? I like to see those conversations. Those are the
Mhm.
conversations you need to have. Conversations with women who have gone through divorce and who've gone through that an easy, not knowing situation. Those we want to see that. Not this just looks like thirsty because this is what Bronwyn did when she was like thinking about if she was going to divorce Sean or not.
Mhm.
The
And the
antics.
stopping the drinking,
Yeah.
I didn't, and like that didn't come across as believable or genuine to me.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Alrighty. So then we see the mid-season trailer. What'd you think about the trailer?
I don't know. I need to see everything in context.
Hmm. I love how they end it off where Heather is telling Noella, you're thirsty, and Noella says, I didn't think you would know what thirsty
Yeah, she's off. She's off.
was.
I'm impressed that you knew what thirsty meant.
I think that's part of the charm of Noella, those little comebacks. But her actions at the dinner being disruptive, those don't come across as genuine.
No, she comes off as Bronwyn, and you guys said it correctly, you and the chat, that it's attention seeking, which is what Bronwyn did. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone liked Bronwyn when she was just herself, and like did
I
we think like
didn't.
I mean I didn't mind her.
I
I'll
didn't
put it
like
that
her.
way. I didn't
I
mind her.
I she never grew on me. Um Maybe it's because I just couldn't relate to her.
You couldn't relate to her, and
I
I think what turned a lot of people off was the fact that she had her and her husband had the threesome apartment. I think that was kind of like
That didn't bother me.
okay.
That didn't bother me. It didn't make sense, but it didn't bother me. But I mm-mm. She always felt forced. Um and always like she was throwing things against the wall to see what stuck.
to me, Brahma just came across like I want to be famous. That's the way I took it. I want to be famous.
Mm.
I want to be first. I want to be a Bravo celebrity. I want to be the queen of OC, and then I want to be famous. And I was like, no.
What did her husband do for a living again?
He was in some kind of marketing, I think. He was CEO of some company. I think it's his company.
Okay. I don't know. Like her better. I did like her better than Kelly. I
Right.
ain't gonna lie. Kelly was problematic for me from the beginning.
Always.
Mm-hmm. Better than Kelly did. Heather is the queen of put downs. I would not want to go toe to toe with her. She will cut you to the core. I want to see if she still is sharp as she was back in the day.
Right. She's been out of practice. like,
I know, but we can tell that she's been rehearsing. That scene with Shannon, she was rehearsing.
she was rusty. But but to me, she's still the same Heather we remember. Like, people didn't like her. I'm like, dude, like, she is who she is. This is like, she's been consistent. If you can't say
Mm-hmm.
anything else about Heather, she is consistent in her behavior and her actions.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think people were surprised when she said she was quitting OC the first time because of Kelly. I don't think people thought she was serious until she didn't show up.
Listen, people need to realize that if you don't need this check, you don't need this job. When she
Right.
said she was quitting, I believed her because
So did
she
I.
doesn't need this.
No, if you're building a $13 million house from the ground up, you don't need this check.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And you got other things in the pipeline?
That Bravo help you promote.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, what I do find interesting in Gina
Mm-hmm.
and her attitude towards the end of the season. I'm very intrigued to see where this is coming from.
What do you mean? Explain.
Because she's like, I'm tired of you telling me that I'm arrogant, and she's talking to Emily, and I think other people have said it because remember Shannon said at some kind of dinner table that Gina's ego needs a pin in it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know where the ego's coming from.
It, I wondered about that too, but I wonder if they were saying that to her because they realized that, well, especially Emily, that she was gravitating more towards Heather, and like Emily felt like their relationship was suffering because of that. I was wondering if that was where that came from. But then when Shannon said her ego needs to have the pin put in it, I was like, wait, huh? Then it made me rethink that. But I said, um, can you find out if Heather cuts a check to Bravo for any of her businesses? Because I thought it was real convenient that she quit the show and then launched all of her stuff. And so now she's back where everything is well established.
Which is smart.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I think Emily is wrong on her idea of Noella. It will come back to bite her later. It's biting her in this episode. I wonder how Noella would be next season once divorce situation has settled some. If she comes back, I'm hoping she'd be more relaxed, but there's not much else to talk about this season. Well, she's got a new boyfriend right now. So maybe that's her thing to get back on next season. She's got a new boyfriend. See what I wrote about Tamara? So no, I don't think so. Yeah, I saw this. By the way, Tamara interview with Bravo said is Bravo gets a piece of their business that starts on the show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But the thing is, what's she name? Heather. Heather was putting together the skincare line. She was rebranding the family as the Dubrows. She was launching her YouTube channel. She was launching her podcast, but nothing went live until after she quit. So I'm wondering if Bravo got a cut out of any of that. I'm just curious. Let's see. Not Bravo Adam. Huh? Heather simply negotiated a better comeback than anyone else in history. Yep.
Yeah. And it says it right here. I'll just read this out. This is from December 23rd, 2020. The women are known to hawk their various ventures, but it's not exactly free publicity. Per their contract, Bravo receives a percentage of the revenue earned from any business promoted on the show, with one exception, Bethany Frankel.
So did she promote those businesses?
I don't think so.
She just talked about them, saying that she was starting them.
Right. That's not publicity. Publicity generally means that you actually show the product on the show, like product placement.
But that's only if it started on the show, right?
No, it's in her contract.
No. The businesses have to be started on the show?
No.
Or is it pre-existing?
I think it's what it is based on this blurb. It's basically, it says from any business promoted on the show. It didn't say prior or not. I guess if there's any product placement, they get a percentage.
Oh, so Jen is giving a cut of her
Probably,
business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tamara says she doesn't have that on her contract, that she doesn't believe this is true.
But yeah, they can, of course, if you can negotiate that. So it doesn't have to be in your contract.
But what business she had? The gym? The gym closed, right?
I believe so. And who's to say? But here's the thing, though. Who's to say that business is in Tamara's name? So if it's in Eddie's name, they don't have to. They wouldn't get anything from it because Eddie's not. Eddie's not under contract with Bravo.
Right.
That's an easy fix.
Yep. Okay. She didn't really promote them. Terry and Heather were talking about getting it together. The only time I remember is when the women watched Heather and Terry were on something like QVC. Yep. When they went to Minnesota or something like that. When they were doing the skincare line. Hey, Susan. Welcome. This was a hot mess episode, but I'm sure they're gearing up for sweeps next month. This was the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 16, episode 7, Wild Cards. Ugh. I think that this is going to be a bad girls' cash trip.
Agreed.
She was sure that Bravo. Oh. Okay, so anything else that we missed on the episode, Jamal?
No, we're good.
We're good? Okay. Good. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. This has been an amazing week. I loved all your comments in the live chat. Cannot wait to see what the replay crew has in store for us in the comments. Guys, it's been an amazing week. Next week, we will be back at it again. We love you for your support of our little channel. And we are just growing, and it's all because of you. Thank you so much. Jamal, any final thoughts?
No, we're good.
We're good. Okay, so until next time?
Yep.
Alrighty. Bye.